Hey guys, it's your girl Samantha with Black Nation News, and today I wanted to talk about our boy Herschel Walker. Herschel. He has got so much to say lately because, of course, we know why he's coming out the woodworks. Based on his talking points, which sound very, can I say white supremacist, sympathizer, or something along those lines, it makes me know already that Herschel must be having something up his sleeve. And sure enough, there's rumors that old Herschel Walker, this coon, is thinking about running for senator. And get this, he is a conservative. I know you guys are so shocked and cannot believe this, but yeah. So I don't know if he's running as a Republican, but I would think that he is, based on just the way he's talking about certain things that affect certain groups of melanated people. So let's go ahead and read this article from Fox News, and then we're going to dig a little bit into Herschel Walker's past and just what the GOP really thinks about Herschel Walker thinking of running for Georgia Senate. So let's get into this. So Herschel Walker sounds off on woke U.S. Olympians, putting down the greatest country while representing it. This is going to be difficult to read through, but I'm going to try to do it. Ex-Dallas Cowboys spoke on rumors of 2022 run against Senator Raphael Warnock in Georgia. Former Olympian and retired Dallas Cowboys running back Herschel Walker told Hannity on Monday, doesn't that say enough that he's on Hannity? Does that say more enough, like all we need to know about this white supremacist sympathizer? On Monday, that U.S. athletes protesting their own nation on the world stage are doing so at the wrong place at the wrong time. Walker, who competed in a bobsled at the 1992 Albertville Games in France, said public opinion of professional sports on the whole will continue to suffer until politics are removed again. I told you it's going to be difficult for me to get through this without doing my talking. So let me keep going. Because we are the greatest country in the world, and we do have the right to protest, but I think it's the wrong place and the wrong time. As a people, we have to decide to elect the right people in the office. Because if you get the right people into office and hold people accountable, we wouldn't have these problems, he said. So basically what cooning Herschel Walker, Uncle Ruckus Herschel Walker, Jim Crow Walker is saying here is that if he's elected into office, he'll keep them field Negroes in their place. That's what he's trying to say here. So if you read the Constitution, it talks about everything you want to fight about today. And right now, we have leaders that won't hold people accountable. So I think that's the problem we are having. So Herschel Walker right now, this piece of shit, he's basically sounding that whistle out to, the white supremacists, let them know, you might want to have a black person in your corner that's going to play ball. Like, you know how, like, when they had slavery going on, they always had that one black Negro that just loved him some massa, and he was the one that kept black Negroes in their place, right? So that's what Walker is basically sounding the dog whistle out, saying, hey, I can be your Negro. So Walker said the athletes protesting their own country are missing exactly what helped them get to the Olympics. The fact America is a nation built on self-determination. Is that what America's built on? Because I think America's built on slavery. I don't know, but self-determination. How are you gonna have some self-determination when you took your ass all across the world to go human traffic and kidnap a whole race of people so that they could do all the hard work while you sit on your ass with your no skill having ass? That's interesting. Self-determination. So self-determination means you have the determination of self, meaning you're determined to do things yourself on your own, not a whole group of people, a whole race that you've enslaved to do the work for you. So I can't agree with you, Herschel. What kind of name is that anyway? But I can't agree with you, Hershey Walker, Jim Crow Walker. Yeah. And that no, so here, let me keep going. He said that no matter a person's beginnings, they have the opportunity to reach the top of their chosen field. He sound like he sound like a cone. He can't cone no more than he coning. We get it. You want to win and you're trying to get that white vote. But this is the wrong place and the wrong time to protest because you are representing the United States of America. That's exactly why you should be protesting, because everybody is watching. Okay, Herschel? Because we know you ain't about to protest shit except trying to date white women. So Walker said his sentiments extend also to his former professional sport, football, where the NFL announced they will play Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is often called the Black National Anthem, before games. Oh my gosh, please don't. If I didn't have my kids in the house, I would scream right now. Don't do the symbolism. We are so past that. Us black people, we are over it. I know the boomers and the silent generation love them some symbolism. Even the Gen Xers love them a little bit of symbolism as well. The millennials aren't, we're just not here for it. And neither are the Zoomers. So I don't see the NFL really having a future with the younger generations. It's a little bit out of touch. I could see us having our own black NFL if we were to continue to watch football. Because I've been boycotting the NFL for at least a decade now, if not longer. And stuff like this it just screams we are missing the point. Like, this shit worked for like the older people, not. I don't want to hear Lift Every Voice and Sing before they start playing football. I don't want a gospel song right before football. That's, millennials and Zoomers at a high record numbers are not even. We're turning away from the church. Okay, we don't do Christianity anymore. We're not doing that religion. So this is the last thing I think millennials and Zoomers want to tune in for, is a little bit of a gospel hymn right before we start to throw that pigskin, okay? Alright, so let's keep going. Walker, who is black, calls a change a bad idea that opens a can of worms. We've got to represent the United States of America, and if you don't like this country is so great that you don't have to stay here, he said. And who does that sound like? You sound like a full-fledged as racist. Shut up, Herschel Walker. Your stupid self. How you gonna tell somebody where to go? You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You're pandering and you're cooning, and you're blowing your dog whistle, letting Whitey know, I'm your Negro if you want a Negro in office who will do your dirty work with blackface on it so it doesn't look racist. That's what he's saying. That's what he said. There's no other way to say this. Who the fuck are you, Herschel Walker, to tell people where they can and cannot be? If we don't like the country it's our country. I mean, do people do this in other countries? That don't even make no sense. I'm a citizen of America just like his ass is. Who the fuck are you to tell me how I should be acting in my country? Please go sit your ass down. And that goes for any freaking race in America. You do not have the right to tell me what I should have to like and not like in my country. This is my country. I'm from here. We go back generation to generation. We built the country. My family's been there since the beginning of America. If it started, we were probably here before America was even America. So who the fuck are you, Herschel Walker, or any other racist, to tell African Americans, I don't care about other people, who are you to tell us that if we don't like it, we should leave? No, you should fucking leave. If you don't like the fact that I'm protesting, which is my right, and that I fought for this in the military, something you know nothing about, who the fuck are you to tell me where I need to be living? Who the fuck are you to tell me where I need to be going? Do you know how angry that makes me? And this is a black guy, which makes me even more angry. He's spewing his bullshit. And it's like, when you kidnap an entire race of people and bring them to some lands, or some of us are probably already in this land, on this land that we now call America, and you've enslaved us and forced us to build a fucking country, you have some goddamn nerve to now say that we don't have the right to protest because we're sick of being treated like shit in the country we built. If people don't like people protesting against their own oppression in a country that their ancestors built and that's still being profitable on their ancestors' backs and the current descendants' backs, how about you need to leave the fucking country? Take your cooning, pandering, clown ass to Europe where you can be surrounded by whitey, which is what you love, and take your ass over there. Maybe you'll find some more patriotic people who won't complain as much about them being oppressed. Because God forbid, Herschel, your corny ass name, God forbid you have to deal with someone who doesn't like being treated like crap. You're living this coveted. You were one of the pick-me Negroes. They picked your ass out of all the Negroes to give you a couple of butter biscuits, and now you think you get to sit here and tell everybody else where they should be living. You can kiss my ass, Herschel Walker. That's what I want to tell you. Me, Samantha, Black Nation News, you can kiss my ass, okay? And I'm pretty sure there's a lot more people who will line up to show you their ass as well, okay? So let's keep going, shall we? So Walker says that the athletes who protested racial injustice decades ago, like U.S. Olympian John Carlos in Mexico City in 1968, were doing so because they did not yet have the rights that they have today. So he's saying John Carlos is allowed to protest because he didn't have the rights that he has now. But we're not allowed to protest because apparently America now is just so great. We have a country that's so great. It is so perfect. We cannot... What are you protesting for? We have a land of opportunity. Nothing bad is happening to black folks. What are you protesting for? And if you don't like it, go yourself someone else. This fucking clown. Let me keep going. So at the time, part of the United States was still segregated. Okay, so I cannot get through this article without... I told y'all it's going to be hard for me to read it. It's going to be hard for me to get through it. The country is still segregated, okay? In 2021, America is still segregated. This is not news. I guess to the clowns and the rewriting history clown brigade of the GOP and Herschel Walker wannabe GOP guy, in their world, apparently, we're living in a post-racial, non-segregated society. But in the real world, where the rest of us live, it's very segregated. So these are just some of the things that people are protesting, because this stuff is still happening. Like I just listened to Taurine talk about how there's still sundown towns in America, all across America, from the south to the north to the east to the west. Negroes cannot be in a certain town after sundown. Okay? So we're just going to sit here and pretend like we're living in this post-racial society all of a sudden, where black people aren't getting killed for no damn reason, and we can just travel freely and not worry about buying the green travel book to make sure we're not going to go across some sundown town and get our heads blown off because we're in the wrong place at the wrong time because of the color of our skin. That's what we're going to do, Herschel. Not today, not on my watch, Herschel Walker. That's what we're not going to do today. So let me keep going. So remember at that time there were separate bathrooms. A lot of African Americans couldn't go into a restaurant and eat. They did protest, and at this point, and now we are at this point here, we have an opportunity to be treated fairly, but they are not upholding that and holding people responsible for what they are doing. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't even know why I'm getting mad, because his ass ain't gonna win shit. But anyways, host Hannity also asked Walker about rumors he is considering a U.S. Senate run in 2022 against liberal Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock of Georgia. Walker, 59, who grew up in Wrightsville, said he has not decided whether to run, and if he does, it will be on my timetable. Those are his words. Georgia has always been on my mind. That's what people don't realize, he said, keying into Ray Charles' famous lyric in rebuffing critics who point to his Texas ties. And if they go back and look at anything I've ever said, I said I am a product of the state of Georgia. Okay, guys, so we survived that. I now want to talk about Herschel Walker and his sketchy past. So I know y'all saw, if you didn't see, I did another video where we talked about Herschel Walker and Tyrus. And I dug a little bit into Herschel Walker's past with his white ex-wife and his homosexual son. So Herschel's got quite the closet there of skeletons that's hanging all out. So let's see. Ooh, Lord, Herschel. You open up a can of worms and they coming on out. So as Herschel Walker considers U.S. Senate run in Georgia, a turbulent past emerges. I mean, they could not dig this up fast enough. Atlanta. A home ground football hero and businessman supported by his longtime friend Donald Trump. Herschel Walker has an attractive profile for Republicans looking to reclaim a U.S. Senate seat in Georgia. But as he decides whether to run, a more complex picture is taking shape. An Associated Press review of Walker's statements over the years, along with a cache of public records, some including previously unreported details, reflects a pattern of turbulent and sometimes threatening behavior that could overshadow Walker's Senate bid. The documents detail accusations of threats Walker made on his ex-wife's life, exaggerated claims about private sector success, and erratic behavior that disturbed his business allies. The account come on top of Walker's previous disclosures about his history of struggling with mental illness, which is what white people love to use to do their fuckery. But apparently black people, when we have mental illness, it's a downfall. So Walker's ex-wife Cindy Grossman noted his outbursts in their divorce proceedings, telling of physically abusive and threatening behavior. In 2005, 4 years after she sued for divorce, Grossman returned to the court for a protective order after Walker repeatedly voiced a desire and an intent to kill her and her boyfriend. That worries some Republicans in Washington and Georgia as they chart a path back to a Senate majority in the 2022 midterm elections. Their concern is that the 59-year-old political novice could win the GOP nomination with his fame and Trump's help, but falter against Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock. Georgia's first black senator, Warnock won a special election in January and will seek a full 6-year term next year. Walker certainly could bring a lot of things to the table, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, a Republican, said in a recent interview. But as others have mentioned, there's also a lot of questions out there. A native of tiny Wrightsville between Atlanta and Savannah, Walker has yet to announce his intentions. He's consulted with Georgia's political players, but has no visible operation in the state and resides in Texas. In a cryptic social media video last month, Walker revs the engine of a car and says, "I'm getting ready, and we can run with the big dogs," before revealing a Georgia license plate. The move amplified chatter about his potential candidacy, but also drew a spotlight on his past. Walker disclosed his mental illness in a 2008 book, Breaking Free, detailing a diagnosis of dissociative identity disorder. In that account, Walker told of as many as a dozen personalities or quote-unquote alters that he'd constructed as a defense mechanism against the bullying he suffered as a stuttering, overweight child. The National Alliance on Mental Illness describes the disorder as alternating between multiple identities, leaving a person with gaps in memory of everyday events. It notes men with the disorder often exhibit more violent behavior rather than amnesia. In his book, Walker acknowledged violent urges. He wrote that he played Russian roulette and recalled sitting at his kitchen table in 1991 pointing a gun loaded with a single bullet at his head. "I wasn't suicidal," Walker explained, but just looked at mortality as the ultimate challenge. Walker pitched a turnaround story, saying he decided in 2001 that it was time to stop running and face some harsh realities. He cited therapy as his Christian faith as influences. I'm sorry, he cited therapy and his Christian faith as his influences. His watershed moment, driving his car to confront a man who'd messed up my schedule and thinking about what it'd be like to shoot the man. Walker changed course. He wrote, after seeing a bumper sticker with the message, "Smile, Jesus loves you." Joe Walker's violent behavior continued well after the 2001 revelation in his efforts to get help, according to court records obtained by the AP. According to a previously unreported affidavit from Grossman's sister, Maria Setos, Walker called looking for his ex-wife while she was out with her new boyfriend. Setos took the call and said Walker became very threatening when told of Grossman's whereabouts. In Setos' recollection, Walker stated unequivocally that he was going to shoot my sister Cindy and her boyfriend in the head. Walker contacted Setos another time and repeated the threats in graphic terms. And according to Grossman's account to the court, Walker confronted her in public later that day. He slowly drove by in his vehicle, pointing his finger at her and traced her with his finger as he drove. In granting a protective order against Walker, a Texas judge stripped Walker's rights to possess a firearm for a time. Walker, contacted through his sister as well as his longtime attorney, did not respond to AP inquiries. Grossman and Setos also did not reply to requests for comment. Concerns about Walker's behavior carried into his chicken business, now known as Renaissance Man Food Services, according to court filings. Walker has said his company employed hundreds of people, including chicken processing plants in Arkansas, and grossed $70 million to $80 million annually in sales. Yet when Walker applied for the Federal Protection Program last year, his company reported just 8 employees receiving $182,000 in aid. In a recent court case, Walker indicated the company averaged about $1.5 million in yearly profit from 2008 to 2017. Meanwhile, Walker's business associates testified in the same case that he doesn't own chicken processing plants as he claims. Instead, they described him as a licensee partner who lends his name to the enterprise. Records generated in a 2018 wrongful termination suit, the employee ultimately lost, depict Walker as a temperamental and unreliable partner. Walker persistently complained that his business partners were trying to cheat him out of money, the documents say, and they indicate he repeatedly fought with his associates over his focus on branching into frozen waffles, which he believed would be a future moneymaker for the company. In a deposition, Walker dismissed his former employee as a puppy. "I'm a big dog," Walker said. "I don't play with puppies." And that was his response to all that. So, wow, this is going to be interesting because on one side, Walker's perfect for GOP because he's black, and they let have a token black face so they can appear as though they're not racist. But on the other side, he's a Republican, and black people usually vote for Democrat, whether they know what the policies are or not. So it's just really hard to say, like, where is this going to lean, how is this going to happen. And I know also a lot of black people do not, I don't know about other races, but we typically don't vote in midterm or special elections. We're lucky if we vote in the midterm election. But yeah, it's just, it's getting close. So here we have an article from New York Intelligencer, that's even a word, dated February 24th of 2021. So apparently they're saying that the Republicans are longing for Herschel Walker as they were agonizing over the election where Raphael Warnock eventually won, came out the winner. But during that election, the Republicans lost some seats, the Democrats gained some seats. So now, apparently, they've been wanting Herschel Walker to run against Raphael Warnock, because, of course, they're 2 black men. So if people want someone black, well, there you go. And, so apparently they do want him to run so that they can have that token black guy they just feel like he'll be a great, I guess, opponent to Raphael Warnock. So let's go ahead and read why the Republicans, the agonized Republicans, are longing for Herschel Jim Crow Walker. Okay, so let's keep going. So the last year in politics has been a living hell for Georgia Republicans, comfortably ensconced as the Peach State's dominant party. Since the early days of this century, the GOP managed to lose Georgia's electoral votes for the first time since 1992, along with not one but 2 Senate seats and 2 House seats in their former suburban Atlanta stomping grounds. Worse yet, they emerged from the carnage deeply divided, with Donald Trump obsessed with vengeance against the Republican governor and Secretary of State who did not facilitate his efforts to overturn Biden's win. Could their salvation be in the familiar form of sports legend Herschel Walker? It's now possible. And you have to remember, Republicans also feel like they cannot win unless they follow the Trump playbook. So anyone who is a friend of Trump is a friend of the GOP. So let me keep going. So looking ahead to the 2022 midterms, Georgia Republicans face a very likely Trump-backed primary challenge to Governor Brian Kemp, with the winner then having to confront GOP nemesis Stacey Abrams, the voter mobilization wizard, who never really stopped running after her very narrow loss to Kemp in 2018. They must also decide on a challenger to new Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock, who defeated appointed Republican Kelly Loeffler in one of 2 January 5 runoffs. Warnock actually captured the shank of a term won by Republican Johnny Isakson, who resigned for health reasons at the end of 2019. The first big development of the 2022 cycle was the decision by former Republican Senator David Perdue, who lost the other Senate seat to Jon Ossoff on January 5th, who would not run against Warnock. He reportedly made this decision after a golf round with the 45th president, according to the New York Times. Perdue was thought to be the one Senate candidate who might be able to preempt serious primary opposition in 2022. Now that he's out, Republicans look fearfully ahead to the possibility of a rematch between Loeffler and the very Trumpy former Congressman Doug Collins. So it basically sounds like they want someone who is Trump affiliated so that Trump's supporters will like the candidate, but they don't want it to be too Trumpian because then it would turn off people who don't like Trump's style. So they might like what Trump stands for because they're white supremacists. But they may not like his style, his brash, mafia, loud type style. So they want someone who's a little smoother. And they want to seem like they're progressive as well, like they're not racist. So they'll go, I could see them totally going for a Herschel Walker. Okay, so let's keep going. So they said Doug Collins attacked the appointed senator relentlessly as a corporate rhino and drove her to previously unimaginable efforts to depict herself as savagely right-wing, at one point running ads boasting that she was more conservative than Attila the Hun. It could even get worse. Collins has been encouraged by Trump to run against Kemp, which might open the door to a Senate race by the Georgia GOP's latest global celebrity, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. She has a lot of time on her hands and little to lose after being stripped of her committee assignments by the U.S. House for a vast record of hateful and bizarre utterances. It's unsurprising then that Georgia Republicans are longing for a deus ex machina to resolve their 2022 Senate dilemma, and something they might find one in a certain Trump-adjacent figure who enjoys godlike status among sports-mad Georgians, as the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports. Herschel Walker for Senate? Georgia Republicans have been buzzing with the rumor that the Georgia football legend and close friend of former President Donald Trump can challenge U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock next year. We've heard the talk for days, mostly from the pundit class and others trying to egg on number 10. The 1982 Heisman Trophy winner, star of the last University of Georgia Bulldogs team to win a national championship, Walker, or simply Herschel as he is universally known in the state, has been close to Donald Trump since the mogul signed him to his first professional football contract with the USFL's New Jersey Generals, which eventually led to a productive NFL career for the running back, known for an unprecedented combination of power and speed. Walker's most prominent post-football media appearance was as a contestant on Trump's Celebrity Apprentice show in 2009. Trump aside, though, Walker has really gotten into the habit of backing Republican candidates in Georgia, including Kemp in 2018 and Loeffler last year. If he were lured into the 2022 Senate race, Walker would presumably win Trump's backing and might clear the primary field as effectively as Perdue could have done. There's another big reason Walker could serve Republicans well in 2022. As one of the state's most prominent black celebrities, he might offer some cover for the Georgia GOP's blatant and visibly racist efforts to restrict voting rights through a blitz of legislative activity aimed at reducing opportunities for early, in-person, and by-mail voting while beefing up the state's voter ID requirements. So basically he's going to run cover so that the racists can do what they usually do without being really noticed. So indeed, voter suppression seems to be the one issue on which all Georgia Republicans, including Trump enemies Brian Kemp and Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, can agree. A campaign against Georgia's first black U.S. Senator fueled by an assault on black voting rights won't look that great if the candidate is a rich white Republican like Loeffler, a savage hillbilly like Collins, or a gun-toting QAnon promoter like Green. This is one threshold problem with the Walker for Senate idea. There's one threshold problem with the Walker for Senate idea. He currently lives in Texas, but his Newsmax, which is fanning the rumors, notes that it's easily fixable. Supporters say, given his heroic status, Walker would be accepted if he simply bought a house and moved back. As veteran Georgia public relations man Phil Kemp put it, he could move back to his hometown of Athens on a Herschel Walker Drive. A lot of Georgia Democrats would be unhappy with having to criticize Herschel Walker, but in Georgia right now, politics is the ultimate blood sport. Whew, they are desperate. They're desperate, but they do have some great points there. And if you want to do something and not seem like a racist, you could grab a black guy. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think about this story and about Herschel Walker, his crazy comments, and him admitting he is crazy. And just let me know what you think. Are you going to vote for him? Do you think he has a point? Do you think he's full of it like I do? So leave me your messages below and make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And until I see you again, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace, love, and light. I am gone.